Welcome back to another video. We're ready to get right into it. Here we go. Alright.
10 dangerous WWE moves that should be retired forever. Number 10. Dive to the outside. Visually speaking, the dive to the outside can look like an impressive move. However, when the move is being used in every match and sometimes even being used multiple times in one 10-minute contest, the move quickly loses its spark. It's become a trend over the past 15 years that most matches in WWE feature the dive spot, and it's become so expected that fans react to the spot as if a wrestler has just performed a chop or a punch. The move has no legitimacy, and the risk simply isn't worth the reward. It goes without saying that this is one of the more dangerous moves in modern wrestling, as a wrestler delivering the move could easily land on their head and things can go wrong in an instant. It's also become a major criticism that the move is insanely staged. The wrestler or wrestlers taking the move will often stand on the outside of the ring, patiently waiting to catch their opponent. This often looks awkward and completely exposes how the move is being done. Number 9. Buckle Bomb. If a move ends up injuring wrestlers, then top wrestling companies such as WWE should look to ban the move outright. The buckle bomb is an interesting move to take, as the margin for error is slim, and more often than not, the wrestler taking the move can get injured due to no fault of their opponent. Seth Rollins is known for using the move, and whilst it's become a part of Rollins' arsenal, the move is still considered to be dangerous by many, and the move doesn't receive a reaction that warrants Rollins delivering such a dangerous move. Rollins would receive the same reaction by performing a traditional powerbomb, which is considered relatively safer to do in the grand scheme of things. Rollins could even introduce a modified version of the powerbomb, which would easily make up for the buckle bomb being retired indefinitely. Number 8. Diving Headbutt. It's a huge surprise that a blanket ban on diving headbutts haven't been introduced. Numerous wrestlers who have used the move have gone on to neck and concussion related issues. Names such as Harley Race, Chris Benoit and Bryan Danielson all use the move, and it would be naive to state that a diving headbutt didn't influence their respective injuries. When it comes to the late great Race, who is widely regarded as the creator of the move, he admitted that he cites the diving headbutt as one of the reasons for his retirement. Race stopped doing the move during his final few matches, as he knew that's what was causing his immense pain and was inevitably going to cause him long-term damage. According to WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle, the move has a sort of whiplash effect, which can ultimately injure the body. Angle discussed this on his podcast, and as always offered a fascinating insight. No, I don't think it was dangerous from a head perspective, a concussion perspective. Chris doesn't really headbutt you, he just kind of lands. His face lands a little bit on your shoulder. It's not a very, detrimental move. The only thing that would occur is whiplashing your own back and neck because you're landing on your stomach. So I think that's the problem Chris had with his neck. I think it had a lot to do with the diving headbutt. Despite this, wrestling companies such as WWE still allow wrestlers to use the move, and Chad Gable is currently using the move on the main roster. This is unfortunate, and hopefully Gable doesn't have long-term problems with his neck, and if he begins to have pain in that area, then he should cease from using the move indefinitely. Number 7. The Figure 4 Leg Lock. The Figure 4 is mainly associated with Ric Flair, and for good reason. Flair's version of the move is well established for being the gold standard when it comes to the move, and although wrestlers from countless generations have tried to emulate Flair, nobody has been able to hold a candle to the way Ric Flair delivered the move. Whenever a wrestler does a move in modern day wrestling, the move receives an initial reaction, and this is only down to the association with Flair. There's always audible woos, and then the reaction quickly dies down when the wrestler can't deliver the move correctly. Now, there is certainly a strong argument to be made that the move should have been retired when Flair stepped back from active competition. His daughter Charlotte Flair manages to deliver a solid version of the move known as the Figure 8, and a bridge modification makes the move stand out, especially compared to other basic versions of the move. The iconic Figure 4 no longer being part of matches would be a weird sight, yet if the credibility of the move is being destroyed on a weekly basis, is it even worth keeping the submission-based move around? Number 6. The Leg Drop. It's often the case that fans have no idea how dangerous a move can be until wrestlers speak out. This has been the case with the leg drop, as for the longest time it just seemed like a basic move that caused little damage. According to Hulk Hogan, the move has caused him so much damage over the years that he wishes he picked a different finishing move. Hogan did the move for decades, and although he's notoriously struggled with the truth, he's without question telling the truth when it comes to the leg drop of doom. Wrestlers who deliver the move from the top or middle rope.
HoneyBook completely changed how I do business. I'm a photographer and independent business. It's a fact.
Have also shared similar thoughts, with Matt Hardy stating that he got injured from delivering the leg drop at the top of the steel cage back in 2005. These names speaking out regarding the dangers of the move haven't influenced anyone to stop delivering it, as weirdly the leg drop has never been more common. It would likely take a direct ban from the company such as WWE to see wrestlers removing the move from their arsenal, and the only way this ban would occur would be if a modern-day wrestler got seriously injured delivering the move, and it was citing that the leg drop was a primary cause of that injury. Number 5. DDT. Whenever Jake Roberts delivered a DDT, it was a given that the match was completely over. Roberts got what in essence is a basic move over to such a degree that not a single wrestler in the history of wrestling has managed to replicate the success that Roberts had with the DDT. The move can look awesome and it can also look credible if presented correctly. However, the DDT hasn't been presented as a legitimate move in decades. As things stand, the move is a transition move at best, and if it was going to be used as a finisher, then a modification is usually offered, as wrestlers don't seem to believe that fans will take the standard DDT seriously as a credible finisher. The DDT has a place in today's wrestling, yet it would be a smart idea if it was retired as a standard transitional move, and the DDT should be built back up as an established finisher. Number 4. Top Rope Double Foot Stomp. Majority of wrestling moves should always have an element of logic attached to them. However, when it comes to the top rope stomp, there's no logic whatsoever. The wrestler taking the move will hold onto the ropes whilst their opponent will come crashing down onto them with a stomp. The move makes no sense whatsoever. Be it slightly dangerous, the move makes no sense whatsoever. Why is a wrestler holding onto the ropes and just waiting there to be stomped into the mat? The move is hard to explain from a kayfabe point of view, and even names such as Michael Cole don't even bother offering a rational explanation as to how the move works. The move should be retired as soon as possible, as it greatly exposes the pro wrestling business and ultimately makes the person taking the move look incredibly incompetent, which should always be avoided when delivering big-time moves. Number 3. Spear through the barricade. Some fans argue that the spear is overused in WWE, and the argument does have some merit. However, due to the move being known for being the finisher of Roman Reigns, WWE do try to commit to protecting the move as much as possible. When it comes to the spear, there is a version of the move, or rather a spot involving the spear, that has been so overused that it's become stale and predictable. WWE loves to deliver a spot which sees a wrestler get speared through the barricade. Let's even just negate the dangers of this move. This spot is present on what seems like every major event WWE produce, and whilst visually it looks great, they become over-reliant on the spot to obtain a cheap pop. Number 2. The German Suplex. If Mick Foley of all people calls the move unsafe, then maybe it's time to reassess if that move should be allowed in modern wrestling. The German suplex has been around for decades, and the move is especially common in today's landscape of wrestling, as it's typical for a match to feature multiple instances of the move, and wrestlers even like to introduce their own variations. According to Foley on his podcast, the move is legitimately dangerous and takes years off a wrestler's career. I just don't like German suplexes. I think that over time they shorten careers and they destroy the quality of life, so people can attack me for that. 1. You know there's little margin for error. It is more margin for error on the German suplex, but that it's just over time it's gonna wear you out. You couldn't show the match that Daniel Garcia had with Willie Yuta to any reasonable orthopedic guy who would say that what those guys were doing was not going to lend itself to a poor quality of life. Another legendary wrestler who has chimed in on this topic is Rob Van Dam, who stated on his podcast that although he likes the move, certain wrestlers can be reckless and throw their opponents hard and fast. I like the German suplex. It's actually a go-to that I would do in a real-life situation, more so than a match, you know what I mean? It's a great move, and it's pretty when someone does a bridge and holds it. It's not, to me, one of the most dangerous moves. Some people do look like they don't take care of their opponents and really throw them hard and fast on their head, and of course, that would be a different situation than just asking about a move. The move has to be performed by wrestlers who know what they're doing. Medusa put it best when she stated that the wrestlers need to learn how to perfect it in order to execute it safely. And if the wrestlers are just being reckless with a move that could easily lead to broken necks, then it's time that a serious discussion took place regarding the safety of the popular move. And number 1, the super kick. Without question, the most overused move in modern day wrestling is the super kick. It was a rarity to see the move in matches during the 80s and 90s, and if the move was going to be used, then it was usually a signature or a primary finishing move. Shawn Michaels was a man who made the move famous, as his sweet chin music became known for being one of the most iconic moves of all time. Yet sadly, if HBK debuted today, he would have a very tough task in getting the move over, as virtually every wrestler in WWE uses it. The move used to be protected and it used to have significance. However, these days are long gone, and it's rare that a super kick even receives a reaction from the audience. The move has been overused to the point of no return, and it's time that the move was retired, or at least wrestlers band together to vastly reduce the number of times the move is being done in a matchup. If this is done, then in a few years the move can be brought back, and hopefully the aura and legitimacy of the move can once again return. Well, there you have it folks, 10 dangerous WWE moves that should be retired forever. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.
Bye.
And while we climb the